Hello. Today I'm just gonna be glitching things out, essentially, just like pretty much how I glitch things in Ableton. There's a few different ways I do it, so I actually grabbed a track from my EP that I've been working on forever here. And there's a section where it's already pretty glitchy, so I figured like why not glitch it some more. So this is one way I glitch things, it's just like manually slicing it up and whatnot, so like here it could be really good to just like sort of duplicate this bit here. And you could probably get rid of finite with it. Maybe not. It's also cool to like pitch things down as well. Just turn on warp mode, turn on pitch mode. Ableton warp modes is also really good for glitching things out. So if you just turn on warp mode here, you've got all these warping algorithms. Beats is pretty fun, especially when you pitch things up. So it might be cool to like sort of reverse this into that glitchy part there. I'm just waiting for it to reverse. There you go. Maybe it'd be cool to sort of do some like hell staccato gaps or something. Something like that. I'll pitch this one up. So yeah, that's one way I glitch things up, and sometimes it just takes a long ass time to actually have it like rhythmically sort of work, so you don't lose your groove and whatnot. But yeah, I want to dive into Ableton warp modes a little bit more now. So let's actually just work on like maybe like 2 bars or something like that, and try and get 2 bars sounding solid, using these concepts. Yeah. Oh my god, what's going on? All right. Cool. So I'm just going to try and get this section sounding solid. So Ableton warp modes is like a really good way of glitching things out. I find it's just really cool. Probably doesn't sound super professional to me to say it like that. I don't sound really smart, but yeah, Ableton warp modes are great. We've already established beats mode. Even if you pitch up beats mode all the way up, it can be really interesting. Just sort of like get these like really sort of like glitchy dull tone sort of things. And yeah, you can always take that a step further as well by consolidating that and just pitching it up again. So that's one way you can get glitch sounds. Another way is like sort of stretching it out. And I find that like this works really well in textures mode and turning the grain size down. That can be really cool. Even like speeding it up and pitching it up on texture mode is really fun. What I might do is I might just maybe that could work as a really cool lead in into this like sort of glitchy negative space play around thingy. So again, like it would be really cool to just like duplicate this and just having it like go like hell skids. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, swag, cool. So maybe even something like that. Pitching them up. Stretching things out on like Complex Pro. It's really sick. I think that's how like not how I think that's how it's just like that's my way of getting like that sort of Aphex Twin like stretched out snare sort of feeling. So maybe we get like something like that could be cool. So yeah, sometimes even just like stretching this out on like Complex Pro or something. Let's repitch. So yeah, that's that. So that's how I do it with like Ableton warp modes and just slicing it up, just using the sample, like no devices or anything like that. It takes a long ass time, but like sometimes the results are worth it, and it makes you, you know, when people listen to your music, it makes you look smart. Cool. So I'm going. The other way I do it is also using arpeggiators and simpler. Whoa, hang on. Sorry, my screen just went black. Okay, we're back. Cool. So the other way I do it is like using arpeggiators and simpler. So if I'll just grab like a section in this. That might be really cool to sort of do that too. Yeah, so we'll do it to this section here. I'm just gonna grab that. Control E. I'll just consolidate that. Cool, and I'll just drag that into a simpler here. Put it on slice mode, so now we can see that like it's sort of like detected like all the different transients and like has sliced them up. So whenever I hit a note on the keyboard, it'll play one of these like sort of slices in the simpler. I put it on gate mode, so like when I take my finger off the key, it'll stop playing the sample. Cool. And then from here, what I do is we'll go back to that 2-bar section that we're working on. So what I do from here normally is just like create a MIDI clip, and that first slice usually starts at C1. Well, not usually starts at C1. That's just kind of like the universal law of how it works. So I'm just gonna start the note on C1, hit legato, so you know the note goes throughout the whole thing. Just sort of duplicate a bunch of notes up the piano roll here. Okay, there doesn't seem to be anything playing at this D note here, so I'm just going to delete that. The reason why I'm doing that is because I only want notes that actually play a snippet of the sample, because when I put the arpeggiator on it, it's going to cycle through these notes. I'm just going to set the rate to 16 and hit this sort of random. So now it's just going to randomly trigger like throughout the sampler. I also find it's really cool, like just playing around with the pitch envelope and the actual like global pitch of the sample inside the simpler as well. And it also has warp modes built into it. So going into like the Ableton warp modes here that we were talking about before, simpler also has Ableton warp modes built into it. That can be fun as well, like maybe turning it on texture and stretching it out. I mean, that's pretty swag. At this point, yeah, also just like stacking up on beat repeats. Like, yeah, you can see here that I've already loaded vocal fun. I just think it's a good preset. Just turn down the pitch decay. And that sounds messy together, but you can sort of see how these sounds might be useful anyway. So that's one way I glitch things out. So maybe instead of working on making 2 bars sound solid, we could probably make 4 bars sound solid now. So let's move on to the next bit. Just gonna grab this in. Whoa, hang on, totally forgot about that. My ADD is just like kicked in a little bit, so. Nah, joking. Okay. So maybe if we like extend, that thing has pissed me off. Okay. consolidate that, maybe pitch that up. So I think it'd be really cool to just like have this like sort of 13th note sort of thing happening here. Okay, that's annoying. This isn't going to be perfect, this is just demonstrations, but that doesn't sound right. Sounds a little... Okay, let's actually grab some of that arpeggiated stuff that we had before. Just gonna cycle through the sample here and just find something that I like. So usually I just grab this whole thing and hit like Command A or Control A and then Command L or Control L. Sick. I mean, yeah, it doesn't flow well, and usually it just takes a long ass time just trying to like make sure like the call and response and whatnot is like really nice. And it's actually got like a bit of rhythm to it. But yeah, again, like I really can't be asked spending like an hour trying to make that happen. I'm just trying to show how to do all this really. The next way I glitch things up is with a free plugin. I think it's probably one of my favorite plugins. I'm a bit of a sucker when it comes to like free stuff. So a lot of the stuff that I use is essentially free. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to resample all this. Yeah, cool. Then I'm just going to hit that with the plugin. It's called Fracture. This is basically just like some sort of like buffer delay unit. The way I look at it is it kind of works like almost the same as granular synthesis, which I'm not going to really explain too much about because there's like heaps of good tutorials on it. The frequent one specifically is really good. But yeah, like essentially like this buffer thing, like the size determines like the grain of the sample it's affecting and how much it's going to repeat it and whatnot, and then it's got like a filter and the actual delay built into it. But the way I use it primarily is just like turning up the dry wet all the way up and just hitting this random dial so it randomizes all the settings and just making sure there's an audio track that's resampling everything. So okay, let me just like that. Oh, hang on. Yeah, cool. So we just make sure this is all good. Yep, and then just hit resample, and it should just glitch it out. Oh, it's wet. Yeah, it makes you sound like a pro sound designer when really you're just kind of like pressing the one button and like praying that something cool comes out of it. So I'm just going to duplicate all this again. So now we're working on 8 bars. And yeah, I'm just going to focus on the 8 bars. So just forget that we were working on this entirely. And this is pretty much like a good way to think of arrangement and making music in general. It's just like kind of move on to the next thing until you've got like heaps of different things to work with. But I'm thinking like cool ways we could probably like fill this space up and make it a bit more interesting. So maybe instead of having that and like this thing here, we could probably have some like weird fracture thing happen. I'm gonna warp that a bit and reverse it. Yeah, and the next way I sort of glitch things out. And again, I'm not going to do like a tutorial or me explaining Granulator in depth because there's so much of it online, and I feel like everyone knows what it is. I mean, like if you don't, like, yeah, definitely look into it. There's a really good frequent tutorial on Granulator too. You should just check out frequent tutorials anyway, and his music. Like, he's amazing. But yeah, I'm just gonna do what I did before and just resample. I'll just resample 4 bars. It's not really an issue. Doesn't matter. I don't know why I keep starting it there. That's not where I want to start. Yeah. Cool. Get rid of that. So, yeah, so I'm just going to chuck this into a Granulator here. So it kind of works like simpler or like a sampler, because that's essentially what it is. It's a sampler, except it can just do a lot of really cool stuff. So I'm just going to delete that clip there and just set this to solo for now. So when I hit a key, you can see that it actually plays from the Granulator. And there's a few things in our macro, like the grain size here, which is pretty much how big the sort of affected like area is. So how much of the sample it's actually going to play out. This says 5 hertz, but like I don't really care about the number value. But yeah, pretty much like the faster the hertz, the smaller the sample is going to be. And sometimes you just get pure tones. So even automating just the grain can be really cool. File position is pretty much like where like this like sort of red like orange bar is, like where in the sample is like the Granulator is affecting or playing from. And spray is just going to play like little snippets like all around the sample. I'll turn this up. I find it gets a little bit out of control when you have the spray like high and the grain size really small. That's why when I use the spray, I usually have the grain size pretty big. Here's the different cool functions, like you can also like affect the pitch as well. It's even got like FM built into it, like frequency modulation, which I think is pretty sick. This can get pretty crazy pretty quick. But yeah, I usually try and have like the frequency not too high because it can get quite piercing, and that stuff is hard to control on a mix. Like I've tried, and there's a reason why I don't go too high. So usually having like really low frequency is the way to go. I find this stuff is really, really cool with like full track renders as well. So we just grab the full track in instead. Yeah, you can get lost in that in ages, and really, at the end of the day, it's all about how you use the sounds, like, not the sounds themselves. So, like, this track, I actually used granular synthesis, and I used pretty much all of the concepts, like, that I just explained here. Yeah, that's my tutorial on how to glitch things up, using free stock devices and whatnot. That's pretty much how I do it anyway. I don't have Portal or Palindrome. I should probably definitely get Portal because I look at it and I think it's great. But yeah, let me know what you think of that one. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email or a message on Facebook or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, again, as I've always said, production lessons, mix downs, whatnot, hit me up for that stuff too. I love teaching people. So yeah, definitely hit me up for one of them because I'm very, yeah, I just love teaching people. But yeah, let's just have a quick listen to all the glitchy sounds we just made. Alright, that's not solo. Yeah. Alright, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'm going to turn this off. Alright.